A hammer in 140 million years old rock. A spark plug in a geode, 500,000 years old. Ancient batteries that actually work. Egyptian carvings that look like light bulbs. Stones showing humans riding dinosaurs. Gold artifacts shaped like airplanes. Impossible. Except they exist. Evidence of time travelers? Lost civilizations? Or something else entirely? Let's investigate. They're called OOPArts. Out-of-place artifacts. Objects that, according to conventional understanding, shouldn't exist where they're found. Or when they're found. A modern tool in ancient rock. Advanced technology in primitive cultures. Evidence of knowledge that shouldn't exist yet. These artifacts have been used to support extraordinary claims. Ancient astronauts. Lost advanced civilizations. Time travelers. Biblical literalism. But here's the question we need to ask. Are they actually out of place? Or have they been misunderstood? The stakes matter. If even one of these is genuine, it rewrites history. It means our timeline is wrong. Our understanding of human development is incomplete. But if they're not genuine, if they're misinterpretations, natural phenomena, or hoaxes, then we need to understand why. Because the way we evaluate evidence matters. So let's examine the claims. Let's look at the physical evidence. Let's follow the science. And let's see what's actually out of place. To investigate OOPArts properly, we need a framework. 3 categories. First, modern objects in ancient rock. Things that appear to have been fossilized millions of years ago, but look suspiciously recent. Second, ancient objects that seem too advanced. Technology that appears sophisticated beyond what the culture should have possessed. Third, deliberate hoaxes and misidentifications. Objects created to deceive, or natural formations misinterpreted as artifacts. For each claim, we ask the same questions. 1. Where was it found? Was it excavated scientifically, or did it just appear? Context matters. Provenance matters. 2. What does the physical evidence actually show? Not what someone claims it shows, what does analysis reveal? 3. What's the simplest explanation that fits the evidence? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But ordinary explanations require ordinary evidence. 4. What do experts in the relevant fields actually say? Not enthusiasts. Not believers. But geologists, archaeologists, physicists, people who study this professionally. That's our method. Now let's apply it. We start with the most famous case. A hammer in a rock. And the question, is it 140 million years old? June 1936. London, Texas. Mr. and Mrs. Max Hahn were hiking along Red Creek when they noticed something odd. A rock with wood protruding from it. They took it home. A decade later, their son George broke it open. Inside, a metal hammer head. Iron. With a wooden handle. The rock encasing it? According to some claims, Cretaceous limestone. Lower Cretaceous. The Hensel Sand Formation. Dated to approximately 110 to 115 million years ago. If this hammer was embedded in Cretaceous rock, in situ, it would be extraordinary. Humans didn't exist 115 million years ago. No hominids did. Not even primates. The hammer itself looks modern. 19th century American style. A miner's hammer or metalworking tool. So, time travel? A lost technological civilization? Evidence that humans and dinosaurs coexisted? Or something else? Let's apply our questions. Question 1. Where was it found? Here's the critical detail. The hammer was not excavated from bedrock. It was found loose. On a ledge. Near the creek. No photographs of it in situ. No documentation of its geological context at the time of discovery. It was a nodule. A loose rock. Picked up from the surface. That matters. Because if it's not embedded in the bedrock, the age of nearby rock formations tells us nothing about the age of the hammer. Question 2. What does analysis show? The hammer head is iron. Consistent with 19th century American metallurgy. The style matches known tools from that era. Creationist sources cite an analysis, attributed to Battelle Labs, claiming unusual composition, 96.6% iron, 2.6% chlorine, 0.74% sulfur. They argue this is too pure for ancient metallurgy. But there's a problem. No formal Battelle report has ever been produced. The analysis is second-hand, uncorroborated. An X-ray in 1992 reportedly showed no internal flaws. Creationists claimed this proved advanced metallurgy. Skeptics note, a homogeneous modern iron head would show the same thing. Radiocarbon dating of the wooden handle? The owner, Carl Baugh, declined testing for years. Later, an unsourced claim reported results ranging from present day to 700 years before present. No lab report. No formal documentation. If accurate, that range confirms recent origin. Question 3. What's the simplest explanation? A 19th-century hammer, lost or discarded near a creek, became encased in mineral deposits. Question 4. What do geologists say? The encasing material is not Cretaceous limestone. It's a carbonate concretion, a hard crust of mineral cement that formed around the hammer. And concretions can form quickly. We'll get to that science in a moment. Right now, the London hammer sits in the Creation Evidence Museum in Glen Rose, Texas, displayed as proof of ancient humans. But the evidence tells a different story. A modern tool. A natural process. Not 140 million years old. Maybe 140 years old. February 13, 1961. Koso Mountains, California. Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Mike Mikesell were hunting for geodes for their gem shop in Alancha. The next day, Mikesell tried to cut one open. His diamond saw blade broke. Inside, not crystals. A white porcelain cylinder. A metal shaft in the center. What looked like a nail. A washer. It looked like a spark plug. The story spread quickly. A geologist, unnamed, uncredited, allegedly examined fossil shells on the rock's surface and declared it at least 500,000 years old. 500,000 years. Before modern humans existed. The Koso artifact became famous. Featured in books on ancient astronauts. Atlantis. Lost civilizations. But let's investigate. Question 1. Where was it found? Collected from the surface during a geode hunting trip. No excavation. No stratigraphic context. Question 2. What does analysis show? X-rays revealed the internal structure. It matched a spark plug. Exactly. In the late 1990s, Pierre Stromberg and Paul Heinrich, working with the Spark Plug Collectors of America, identified it. A 1920s champion spark plug. Model T or Model A Ford. Common in early 20th century automobiles. The Koso Mountains had active mining operations in the 1920s. Plenty of old equipment. Plenty of discarded auto parts. Question 3. Was it even a geode? No. Geodes have a specific structure, a hard silica shell, quartz crystals inside. The Koso artifact's casing was soft. Described as hard as clay. Not a geode. A concretion, an iron oxide crust around the spark plug. Question 4. How old was it really? The 500,000-year estimate? Based on a flawed assumption. Mistaking a concretion for a geode. Misidentifying the rock type. The iron oxide concretion could form in years or decades. Not millennia. A 1920s spark plug, lost during mining operations, encased by natural mineral deposits. The Koso artifact is now missing. Its owner refused further examination for years. Some claim it's in the Pacific Science Center in Seattle. Others say it's lost. Either way, the identification is clear. 1920s automotive technology. Not 500,000 years old. Not ancient. Not alien. Just a spark plug in a rock. So how do modern objects end up looking ancient? Concretions. A concretion is a hard mass of mineral matter that forms within sediments. It's cement. Natural cement that binds particles together, sand, clay, shells, around a nucleus. That nucleus can be anything. A fossil. A piece of wood. Or a modern object. The process? 1. An object, say, an iron hammer is deposited in wet sediment. A riverbed. A creek. The seafloor. 2. Iron rusts. This is electrochemical corrosion. The iron releases ions into the surrounding water and sediment. 3. Those iron ions act as cement. They precipitate. They bind the surrounding particles, sand, mud, minerals, into a hard shell. 4. The concretion grows. Layer by layer. Encasing the object completely. How long does this take? Contrary to popular belief, it can be fast. Months to years. Not millions of years. Real examples. World War II munitions on English salt marshes. Shells. Bombs. Shrapnel. Now fully encased in iron carbonate concretions. Formed in less than 80 years. An unexploded hand grenade from the 20th century, found as the nucleus of an iron nodule in coastal England. Conservators routinely recover modern artifacts, from shipwrecks, marine sites, in concreted states. The concretions are so hard they require mechanical and chemical removal. This is not a flaw in geology. It's how geology works. Old rock formations nearby don't date the concretion. They date the bedrock. The concretion is a separate, recent formation. So when someone finds a modern tool in ancient rock, ask, is it in bedrock? Or is it in a concretion? Was it excavated in situ? Or found loose? Because concretions can make a 100-year-old hammer look like it's been there forever. That's the science. Now you know. The London hammer. The Koso artifact. Both presented as impossible. Both explained by geology. Modern objects. Natural processes. Misunderstood timelines. These aren't evidence of ancient advanced civilizations. They're evidence of how quickly natural processes can mimic great age. But not all OOPArts are modern objects in concretions. Some are genuinely ancient. And the question becomes, are they too advanced? Did ancient cultures possess technology they shouldn't have? Let's investigate the next category. Ancient objects. That might be too sophisticated. We start with something that actually works. Ancient batteries. 1936, Kujut Rabu, near Baghdad. Wilhelm Koenig, working with the Iraq Museum, discovered something unusual. Small clay vessels. Terracotta jars, about 15 centimeters tall. Inside each, a copper cylinder. An iron rod. Sealed with asphalt. Koenig proposed a theory, galvanic cells. Ancient batteries. The claim, Parthian or Sasanian cultures, around 200 BCE to 200 CE, were generating electricity. For what? Electroplating gold onto objects. Or perhaps primitive electrotherapy. Even religious temple tricks to produce shocks. So, does it work? Yes. Modern replications confirm it. Fill the jar with an acidic liquid, vinegar, lemon juice, grape juice. The copper and iron, in contact with the electrolyte, generate a voltage. How much? About 0.8 to 2 volts per jar. Not much. But real. In 2005, Mythbusters created 10 replicas. Connected in series, they produced 4.33 volts. Enough to electroplate a small copper token with zinc overnight. It works. Ancient batteries are chemically feasible. But here's the question, did they actually use them as batteries? Let's investigate. Archaeological context, similar vessels were found at Seleucia and Ctesiphon. Inside those jars, papyrus scrolls. Plant matter. Magical incantation bowls. They were ritual containers. Spell holders. Protective magic. No wires have ever been found. No electroplated artifacts from the region and period have been demonstrated. Surface treatments that exist are conventional gilding or mercury fire gilding, not electroplating. British Museum experts note, all known gilding from that time and place uses established techniques. Zero evidence of electrical methods. Elizabeth Stone, archaeologist, I know of no archaeologist who believes these were batteries. So what are they? Most likely, containers for sacred texts or ritual objects. The iron rod functioned as a magic nail. The asphalt seal preserved contents. Can they function as batteries in a modern demonstration? Yes. Did ancient Mesopotamians use them that way? No evidence supports it. The Baghdad battery is a cautionary tale. Just because something can work doesn't mean it did work that way. Functional possibility doesn't equal historical use. The Iraq Museum housed these artifacts. After the 2003 looting, their whereabouts became uncertain. The museum reopened in 2015, but the status of specific objects remains unclear. The Baghdad battery, real artifact. Real chemistry. But almost certainly not a real ancient battery. Dendera, Egypt. Temple of Hathor. Deep in the subterranean crypts, a series of stone reliefs depict something strange. Large, bulbous objects. A serpent inside. Emerging from a lotus flower. Supported by a jade pillar. To some, it looks exactly like a modern light bulb. The lotus is a socket. The jade pillar, an insulator. The serpent, a filament. Erich von Daniken popularized this theory. Ancient Egyptians possessed electrical lighting. Perhaps Crookes tubes, early cathode ray technology. How else, proponents ask, did they illuminate the dark inner chambers without soot? Let's investigate. Question: what do the hieroglyphics actually say? The inscriptions describe mythological events, not technical specifications. The reliefs depict the Egyptian creation myth. The birth of the sun god. The bulb. It's not a glass container. It's the womb of the sky goddess Nut. Or the primordial waters of Nun. The hieroglyph Iturti, a sacred place. The serpent? Harsamtus, a creator god. Also known as Horus who unites the two lands. He represents the rising sun. Rebirth. Dawn. The lotus flower? A powerful Egyptian symbol. It closes at night, sinks underwater, re-emerges and blooms in the morning. The perfect metaphor for the daily solar cycle. Creation and renewal. The jade pillar? It symbolizes stability and endurance. Associated with Osiris. His backbone. The ceremony of raising the jade symbolized resurrection and cosmic order. This is mythology, not technology. What about the soot argument? Some tombs and temples are remarkably clean. But soot has been found in other areas, including parts of Dendera itself. Egyptians used oil lamps that produced minimal soot. They employed ventilation systems. And many clean surfaces are the result of modern restoration and cleaning. Most importantly, zero physical evidence of electrical infrastructure exists. No light bulbs. No filaments. No glass. No power sources. No conductive wiring. The Dendera light bulb is a classic case of pareidolia, seeing modern technology in ancient symbolic art. The reliefs at Dendera are consistent with Egyptian artistic conventions. They depict concepts symbolically, not literally. Egyptology consensus: this is a beautiful, complex representation of cosmic creation. Not a blueprint for ancient electricity. The overlooked truth isn't they had light bulbs. It's that their mythology was rich, sophisticated, and deeply connected to natural cycles. That's more interesting than anachronistic technology. Ancient airplanes. 2 cases. First, Colombia. The Quimbaya culture. Pre-Columbian gold pendants, dated to around 300 BCE to 700 CE. Small golden objects. About 5 centimeters long. Wings. Tail fins. They look like aircraft. Proponents claim ancient knowledge of aerodynamics. Perhaps models of flying machines. Second, Egypt. Saqqara, circa 200 BCE. A wooden sycamore model. Wingspan about 18 centimeters. Weight 39 grams. It looks like a glider. Some speculated the Egyptians developed aircraft technology. Let's investigate. The Quimbaya artifacts, what are they actually? The Gold Museum in Bogota describes them as birds and insects. Zoomorphic jewelry. Ceremonial pendants. Lost wax casting. Suspension loops for wearing. Stylized avian and aquatic motifs consistent with regional traditions. Comparative art from neighboring cultures. Tirona goldwork features elaborate bird pendants with spread wings, serpent motifs. Uncontroversially read as birds, not machines. Have enthusiasts built flying models based on them? Yes. By enlarging them. Adding modern control surfaces. Using lightweight materials. But that's modern engineering. Not ancient intent. The Saqqara bird, can it fly? No. Richard P. Hallion, aviation historian, far too heavy and unstable. In 2023, computational fluid dynamics analysis by the Institute of Aerospace Technology in Bremen tested the artifact. Results: poor glide performance. Pitch instability. Asymmetric lift causing uncontrollable roll. Replica flights only worked after adding a vertical stabilizer not present on the original. And using balsa wood instead of sycamore. So what is it? Most likely, a ceremonial object. Possibly linked to falcon deities like Horus or Are-Horikti. Perhaps a child's toy. A weather vane. A masthead for sacred boats. Not a glider. Not evidence of ancient aeronautical knowledge. These are cases of pareidolia. We see modern forms in stylized ancient art. We project our technology onto their symbols. Context matters. These were small ornaments and ritual objects. Not flying machines. So far, we've seen modern objects mistaken for ancient. Ancient objects misinterpreted as technology. But here's the thing. Sometimes ancient technology actually is sophisticated. The Antikythera mechanism. Discovered in 1901 in a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera. Dated to approximately 200 BCE. A shoebox-sized device. Bronze gears. At least 30 interlocking components. It's an astronomical calculator. It predicted the positions of the Sun, Moon, and the 5 known planets. It forecast eclipses using the Metonic cycle, 235 lunations. It displayed lunar phases. It tracked ancient Olympic Games dates. Operated by hand crank. Inscriptions served as a user manual. This is real. Radiographic imaging and high-resolution CT scans have revealed the internal structure. It's genuine ancient Greek engineering. Based on astronomical theories developed by Greek scholars in the 2nd century BCE. And it's housed in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. You can see it. So why isn't the Antikythera mechanism an OOPArt? Because it has context. It was excavated scientifically from a dated shipwreck. Its construction aligns with known Greek mathematical and astronomical knowledge. The inscriptions are in ancient Greek. The gear ratios match documented astronomical cycles. It's sophisticated. Astonishing. Centuries ahead of what we thought ancient Greeks could build. But it's not out of place. It's in exactly the right place, demonstrating that ancient cultures could achieve remarkable feats within their technological and intellectual frameworks. This is the difference. The Antikythera mechanism is evidence that rewrites our understanding of ancient capabilities. Not by invoking aliens or time travel. But by revealing that human ingenuity, even 2,000 years ago, could create extraordinary things. That's the real story. Not lost supercivilizations. But human brilliance we overlooked. When ancient technology is genuinely advanced, it has documentation. Context. Corroborating evidence. The Antikythera mechanism teaches us, ancient people were smarter than we often give them credit for. But that doesn't mean every mysterious object is advanced technology. It means we need to distinguish between genuine achievement and misinterpretation. Let's talk about hoaxes. Ica, Peru. 1960s. A farmer named Basilio Usquia begins selling carved stones to tourists and collectors. The stones depict extraordinary things. Humans riding dinosaurs. Advanced medical procedures, brain surgery, heart transplants. Flying machines. Telescopes. Maps of lost continents. A local physician, Dr. Javier Cabrera, becomes fascinated. He collects thousands. Eventually around 20,000 stones. In 1996, he opens the Museo de Piedras Grabadas, the Museum of Engraved Stones, in Ica. The claims, these stones are evidence of an ancient advanced civilization. Humans coexisted with dinosaurs. Possessed knowledge far beyond their time. But here's what actually happened. As media attention increased, Peruvian authorities investigated. Selling antiquities without permits is illegal. Usquia was arrested. He confessed. He made the stones. Drew imagery from films, television, comic books. Used modern etching tools. Applied artificial aging to make them look ancient. In 1977, the BBC filmed him carving a stone for their documentary, Pathways to the Gods. He signed a legal confession, the stones were a hoax. Irma Gutierrez de Aparcana, another artisan, also admitted creating stones for the tourist market. The production methods. Take an andesite cobble. Scratch designs through the oxidized surface patina with modern tools. Apply darkening agents to make the carvings look old. Drill holes if needed. Sell to eager buyers. Some of the ancient stones have drill marks. Fresh scratches. Tool signatures inconsistent with ancient methods. The depicted dinosaurs match mid-20th century paleoart. Tail-dragging theropods. Incorrect digit counts. Anatomical errors that modern paleontology has corrected. Dinosaurs that never lived in South America, like ceratopsians, appear on the stones. No archaeological excavations by credible scholars have found these stones in secure contexts. The few, contextual finds, promoted early on were quietly removed from museum displays amid authenticity concerns. But the hoax persisted. Why? Money. Selling ancient artifacts to tourists is lucrative in an impoverished region. Belief communities. Ancient astronaut theorists and young Earth creationists embraced the stones as confirmatory evidence. They wanted them to be real. Institutional ambiguity. Cabrera's private museum still operates. Tourism websites list it. That lends an air of legitimacy. The Ica stones are a case study in how hoaxes thrive. Economic incentives. Willing believers. Lack of scientific scrutiny. They're not ancient. They're modern folk art sold as something more. So how do you spot an OOPArt hoax? Red flags. 1. Sudden appearance without provenance. Thousands of stones appear in a single region with no prior archaeological record. No excavation photos. No stratigraphic documentation. 2. Dependence on a single supplier or storyteller. One person controls access. Refuses independent verification. Won't disclose find spots. 3. Anachronistic subject matter matching popular media. Dinosaurs depicted exactly as they appeared in 1950s films. Not as science now understands them. 4. Stylistic inconsistencies with regional traditions. The Ica stones don't match known pre-Columbian Peruvian art styles. 5. Physical evidence of modern manufacture. Drill striations. Fresh patina breaches. Applied darkening agents. 6. Lack of corroborating archaeological context. If an advanced civilization existed, where are the buildings? The tools? The burials? The middens? One artifact type in isolation is suspicious. Forensic methods. Microscopic examination for tool marks. Stratigraphic verification, was it really found where claimed? Comparative iconographic analysis, does the style match the alleged period? Provenance auditing, trace the chain of custody. And always ask, who benefits? If someone is selling the artifacts, financial motive exists. If belief communities embrace them uncritically, confirmation bias is at play. Authentic artifacts have scientific excavation, documentation, peer review, museum curation by credible institutions, publications in scholarly journals. Hoaxes have stories, secrecy, salespeople. Know the difference. Not every OOPArt is easily explained. Some remain in gray areas. The Dorchester pot. A metal bell-shaped vessel reportedly found in solid rock in Massachusetts, 1851. No surviving artifact. No modern analysis. Just 19th-century newspaper accounts. Impossible to verify now. The Kingoody hammer. A nail allegedly embedded in Devonian sandstone in Scotland, 1844. Again, no surviving physical evidence for modern testing. Historical curiosities. But without the artifacts, we can't investigate. And some archaeological finds genuinely challenge our understanding, not because they're out of place, but because they reveal capabilities we didn't know existed. The Antikythera mechanism did that. Göbekli Tepe did that. Older, more sophisticated than expected. But explained within human development. Not aliens. Not time travelers. Just people being more clever than we gave them credit for. The lesson? Mysteries exist. That's good. Mystery drives investigation. But mystery doesn't mean therefore aliens or therefore lost supercivilizations. It means we don't know yet. And the way to find out is science. Archaeology. Geology. Not speculation. So what have we learned? We investigated out-of-place artifacts. Objects that seem impossible. The London hammer. The Koso artifact. Modern tools in what looked like ancient rock. Explanation: concretions. Geological processes that can encase objects in years, not millennia. The Baghdad battery. Ancient clay jars that can generate voltage. Explanation: ritual containers misinterpreted as technology. Functional possibility doesn't equal historical use. The Dendera light bulbs. Egyptian reliefs resembling modern lighting. Explanation: mythological symbolism. The creation of the sun god. Pareidolia, seeing our technology in their art. The Saqqara bird and Quimbea, airplanes. Explanation: ceremonial bird imagery and jewelry. Not flying machines. The Ica stones. Explanation: confessed hoax. Modern folk art sold as ancient artifacts. And the Antikythera mechanism. A genuine marvel. But not out of place, in exactly the right place. Demonstrating that ancient humans were brilliant. 3 lessons. 1. Context is everything. Where was it found? How was it excavated? What's the documentation? Without context, claims are just stories. 2. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. If someone says this rewrites history, ask for the data. Not secondhand reports. Not uncorroborated analyses. Peer-reviewed research. Museum curation. Scientific consensus. 3. The simplest explanation that fits the evidence is usually correct. Concretion formation is simpler than time travel. Ritual containers are simpler than ancient batteries. Mythology is simpler than lost electrical technology. This doesn't mean we reject mystery. It means we investigate properly. Science isn't about closing doors. It's about opening the right ones. Why do OOPArts captivate us? Because we want wonder. We want the past to be more than it seems. We want ancient people to have possessed lost knowledge. Secret wisdom. Advanced technology. We want to believe there's more to the story. And here's the truth, there is. But the real story isn't aliens or time travelers. It's that humans, our ancestors, were ingenious. They built Göbekli Tepe 11,000 years ago. They created the Antikythera mechanism 2,000 years ago. They carved Angkor Wat. They navigated oceans. They calculated eclipses. Without computers. Without modern tools. Just human intelligence. Observation. Trial and error. Generational knowledge. That's the wonder. OOPArts diminish that. They say, ancient people couldn't have done this. It must be aliens. Or lost supercivilizations. But they did do it. And that's more impressive. The real mystery isn't whether the past holds impossible technology. It's how much we still don't know about what humans actually achieved. And the way to learn is through archaeology, geology, history, science. Not through shortcuts. Not through speculation that leaps past evidence. Through careful, patient investigation. That's how we uncover the real wonders. Out-of-place artifacts. Some are modern objects in natural rock. Some are ancient objects misinterpreted. Some are hoaxes. But all of them teach us something. About geology. About archaeology. About how we evaluate evidence. About the difference between mystery and magic. The next time you encounter an impossible artifact, ask, where's the context? What does the physical evidence show? What do experts say? What's the simplest explanation? Stay curious. Wonder is good. Mystery drives exploration. But stay critical. Demand evidence. Follow the science. Because the real story of humanity, the actual achievements of ancient people, is more fascinating than any invented mythology. We don't need aliens to explain human brilliance. We just need to look closer. Stay curious. Stay critical. And keep investigating. This is Underlight Histories, where the overlooked is illuminated. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. See you next time.